All right, listen up. This is a Code Ninja security advisory. We're tracking an active threat, and it requires your immediate action. Drop what you're doing and listen closely. The vulnerability we're tracking is CVE 2025-53521. Now, what started out looking like a moderate threat has, well, it's escalated into a full-blown critical incident. We now know it's being actively exploited by a nation-state actor. And look at how fast this thing escalated. It's really alarming. Back in October 2025, this was just flagged as a denial-of-service vulnerability. Fast forward to March 2026, and new intel confirms it's being used in the wild. Then, on March 27th, the bottom dropped out. F5 officially recategorized it as a critical remote code execution vulnerability. And on the very same day, CISA added it to their KV catalog. The threat level just went through the roof.
Let's just put this jump in severity into perspective. We went from a CVSS score of 7.5, that's a high, for a DOS bug, all the way up to a 9.8 critical for remote code execution. You know what that means. That's the difference between an attacker being able to crash your system versus them owning it completely. It's a move from a major inconvenience to a total compromise.
And let me be perfectly clear. This is not some theoretical exercise. CISA confirmed it themselves. This exploit is active. It is in the wild. Attackers are using this to hit targets right now. Your perimeter is absolutely being tested as we speak.
So here's the threat in plain English. We're dealing with an unauthenticated remote code execution vulnerability in F5's BIG-IP Access Policy Manager. An attacker doesn't need credentials. They can just hit the system and get in. And worse, a sophisticated nation-state actor is already using it to install a particularly nasty piece of malware they're calling the Brickstorm backdoor. Okay, before we dive into the technical protocol, we need to do a comms check. It is imperative that you are connected to this channel for ongoing intelligence. So, follow this protocol. 1. Subscribe. You need to get real-time intel on this and other threats as they emerge. 2. Acknowledge you received this advisory with a like. Think of it as your handshake, confirming receipt. And 3. Report your status in the comments. Are you patched? Are you vulnerable? This helps all of us gauge the blast radius. Don't wait. Execute now. All right, comms check complete. Now we're moving into the deep dive. Assessment, threat hunting, and of course, remediation.
This is the blast radius. If you are running F5 BIG-IP APM, you need to check your systems against this list. Now, the vulnerable versions span the 17, 16, and 15 branches. So your first order of business is to inventory your assets and identify every single affected device.
So who's in the crosshairs? Well, it's exactly who you'd expect. Enterprises, big financial institutions, and government agencies. Anyone who relies on BIG-IP for secure access. And I really need to stress this next point. If your BIG-IP system is running in appliance mode, you are not safe. It is also vulnerable. There is no special configuration that's going to mitigate this. These are your indicators of compromise. Get your threat hunter spun up and looking for these signs right now. First, the Brickstorm backdoor itself. Second, be on the lookout for in-memory web shells. They're designed to evade simple disk-based scans. Third, you need to be scouring your logs for any entries showing a local user disabling the SELNX security module. Fourth, check for any modifications to the CISA integrity tool. And finally, monitor your network for any suspicious outbound traffic coming from the BIG-IP device itself. That is a major red flag. Okay, this is your only way out of this mess. Patching is absolutely mandatory. For the 17.5 branch, you need to get to 17.5.1.3 or a later version. For 17.1, it's 17.1.3 or later. On the 16.1 branch, you're looking for 16.1.6.1 or later. And for anyone still on the 15.1 branch, you need to upgrade to 15.1.10.8 or later. Let me be clear, there are no workarounds. You must patch. Now pay very close attention to this. This is a critical warning, directly from F5. If you even suspect a compromise, do not, I repeat, do not restore from a UCS file. Your user configuration set backup can contain persistent malware. You'll just be reinfecting a clean system. The only safe procedure is to rebuild your configuration from scratch on a completely fresh install. Do not reinfect your own systems. And finally, a quick word on why we're issuing this public advisory. It all comes down to our code. Look, the attackers already have this information. This disclosure isn't for them. It's for you. It's for the defenders.
Our protocol is simple. We arm our community with the intelligence needed to protect the perimeter. This forces a fix from the vendor, and it ensures you have what you need to survive the fight.
That's the advisory. Now go hunt, go patch, stay secure.